Hey, good evening, all of you beautiful people. I believe we have started this live. Good evening. Just checking if everything technical is working. Yes, and there is Erlijn. Hey, everybody. Happy to see you here. I will invite Erlijn to our Soulcare live class this evening. Hey, Erlijn, good to see you.
Always working well. Very good.
Yay! I'm really so excited for tonight's live class, and I'm really happy to see you again and to have you here. Um, I'm really honored for you taking the time out of your busy schedule, and I just want to thank you already when starting this. We have a beautiful Soul Care live class coming up, and that will be partly me interviewing you on your beautiful work. But I believe you might have prepared something for us as well.
Yes, I
So
have.
it will be an evening filled with a lot of amazing tips and tricks and resources and just lovely heart-to-heart connection.
Share
Yeah,
everything
just
I can.
sorry.
I will share everything I can that will help you.
Yay! Well, thanks for doing that for everybody listening or tonight, everybody coming on, and everybody that finds this video. We'll save this on Instagram TV, and we are also recording this maybe for a podcast in the future. Um, so people can always find this beautiful talk back if they want to, and I will of course share those links later on. But to start off, let me introduce you, you beautiful soul, Dr. Erlijn van Genuchten. Just to give you a bit of a welcome and to have everybody understand maybe how we've met or what the connection is and who you are. I just want to start off with saying that I really feel that I have found a friend in you, and that you are a beautiful soul with a really big heart. Um, and I know that you are like working really hard to make a huge positive difference in our world. And you do that even though you're born in the Netherlands, you're based in Germany, but you do that globally with your amazing projects. And yeah, I really see you as a well, you're a big inspirator to a lot of people globally, and you're a trailblazer with yeah, with your or sustainable mission, really, to really inspire others to be more sustainable. But you also, as I see it, with your PhD in psychology and having been a teacher and publishing books, I mean, you're a true multi-potential. Like, wow. It's awesome, and it's amazing to have you here tonight. So thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Same for me. I love to be here with you as well because the talks we have had so far, I've really enjoyed them too.
Good. That's so good to hear. And maybe before we really start off with some questions and you know, having this beautiful conversation flow as it goes, is there anything that you'd like to maybe start with or share um, before I dive into questions?
Yeah. Well, I've been thinking about that, and I'm better at answering questions. However, I
Yeah.
do want to share that um, sometimes it may seem easier for others to do things than it might be for the person itself. And talking about fear and overcoming it, this is the first time I'm doing an Instagram live, so I'm not 100% comfortable doing this, but I want
Yeah.
to become freer than I'm now, and I want to give more to the world in the future. And that's why I'm overcoming this little fear for now, and I'm doing it anyway.
Yes, this is like really diving into this new world, and thanks for sharing that. It's a beautiful bridge of me maybe even forgetting to share the topic before we started, but we dive in with this like immediately, and it's perfect. Thanks for sharing that and just opening up on that. And just to let you know, like, and to let everybody know listening to this now or later on, fears, it's a really human thing, and I know that I have a couple, and you know, it's really normal to have them, and it's also really healthy to allow yourself to find tools to help you deal with them in order that you can live a life where you experience that inner freedom. And I think it's a beautiful way to start in this sense of how it connects to the topic. And but before we go into really the topic and all those bits and pieces, I would love to kind of chat with you on your beautiful book that you've published recently. And yeah, I would love to hear, like, what is it about, and maybe you'd like to share where people can find it as well. And I'd love to kind of hear what was your drive, and you know, what was your road to get there.
Yes. So it is a long story which started in August last year. I decided that I wanted to make a huge positive difference to our world, and because sustainability is a hot topic in the news and in the newspapers, etc., I decided that I wanted to make a start with myself, because I believe a better world starts with yourself. And I decided to do a 365 Sustainable Decisions Challenge, making my daily life more and more sustainable every single day by doing a different thing every day, every single day. And this adds up over a year, of course. And I've been sharing these ideas online. However, there are also people who want to be inspired, who are not on Instagram or Twitter or on a blog. And in the book, I have brought together these 365 ideas that I gathered throughout my challenge. So I shared how I make my daily life more sustainable. And it's available on Amazon, on different marketplaces. So wherever you are, you can find it there, either in paperback or as an ebook, because ebook is more sustainable, and that's why I made an ebook as well.
Nice. Amazing. Yes, because maybe, well, I've kind of been so so happy to have met you and have seen parts of your challenge and the 365 challenge. But could you maybe share with us, like, how did that start, and why did you start that challenge?
Yeah, so I always wanted to make a difference, which started when I was a young kid. I wanted to become a teacher and share my knowledge and skills. And in high school, I wanted to become a high school teacher. As a student, I wanted to become a professor, etc. And I didn't stay into academia, but I still love to share my knowledge. And that's also why I decided to share these ideas, so that those who want to become inspired can do so. And of course, it makes a change when I make my daily life more sustainable. But I believe that together we can do a lot more. And that's why I shared it as well. And that's my biggest why. I want to make a huge positive difference for our world, for our environment, and especially also for the generations to come.
It's beautiful. Yes, awesome. You know, what I'm curious about, maybe to kind of dive into, is like, you've always had this dream, you know, to become a teacher, and you have this vibe, this inner spark that lights up. I see it when you talk about it. You really shine when you talk about it. So it's beautiful to see you do that. And you don't have to go into it, but I'm just looking for a bit of, maybe, has there been some sort of, have you seen also things that really hurt you, or that was things in this world that made you want to do this sustainable project and made you really get that drive even deeper, you know?
Yeah. So I would say, always lived slightly sustainable. So I've never been wasteful. However, seeing, for example, pictures of birds being strangled by plastic bits, or
Mm-hmm.
of plastic soup floating around in the sea, seeing
Yeah.
more and more of these images and hearing more and more stories of what's going on in other places in the world. Every time, of course, that triggered me a little bit more. And then at some point, the employer I was working for, when I started my challenge, they set up a challenge for us employees to come up with ideas of how they could become more sustainable. And of course, I really appreciated that. So I started brainstorming of what I could hand in. And
Mm-hmm.
that was on a cycling holiday. And on a cycling holiday, you can brainstorm very well because beautiful nature around. And
Yeah.
suddenly the idea popped up to do this challenge. It wasn't something my employer could do, but I got really a tingling feeling in my tummy. And when I feel that, I know then that I'm really excited and that it's a good idea. So
Yes.
after we got back from holiday, I started planning immediately, looking at how I could do it. And I don't know, about a week later or so, I actually started and couldn't wait any longer to get it going.
Amazing. And you really fulfilled it like every day for a year after day. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big accomplishment. That's really good.
Yes,
Um,
it wasn't always easy because it included the weekend as well. But
yeah.
the why, as you asked me before, because my why is so clear, and I believe that making a positive difference can't wait another day. That's
Mhm.
why it was still very, well, relatively easy to do it anyway, because I was so extremely motivated.
Yeah. I love that spark that you share with us. And I'm thinking like how can we or it kind of makes me think right now like when it comes to having because yeah I'm looking for what you might have seen with the people that you have a lot of followers on Twitter, for example, that have really seen all those steps of that year and I'm curious like what is your vision on that when it comes to tonight's topic, you know, when it comes to from fear to inner freedom, when you would combine it to sustainability, what do you see there? You know, what is your experience now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so related to this topic, there were so many instances that I had fear, or at least was very nervous. And
Mhm.
I did it anyway because my life now is looking completely different than it was a year ago.
Yeah.
So this part, well, made me practice every single day overcoming things. So
Mhm.
to me, this shows that living more sustainable is also something that has to do with developing oneself. Because I talked to someone, I think from India, earlier today, and she told that she's also willing and she is living more sustainable, and that her family members are looking a little bit strange at her that she's doing that. And
Mhm.
that, wow, well done that you are doing it anyway, because, well, that involves fear as well, that people might look at you in a strange way or that they reject you. And I
Yeah.
had the same when I started. Well, I hoped it turned out well. I hoped that my family members and my partner would accept me doing this and also growing the project. So yeah, these are a few examples of how sustainability and fear could go together.
Yes, I think it's beautiful, and I agree with you on how it really has to do with daring to kind of develop yourself and daring to even break through that fear of yeah, you know, being looked at in a certain way by people close to you. That can be such a scary thing. And
And
there
especially,
are,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead. What did you want to say?
and especially when you feel you're doing the right thing and that is not the mainstream decision. Because I've made many decisions that are not mainstream. And 4 weeks ago, I quit my job to be able to dedicate myself 100%, so full time to sustainability. Well, it's definitely not easy and mainstream to, within this Corona time, give up a well-paid full-time job with wonderful colleagues, with a great employer.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels right, and I'm very glad that I did it. But yeah, it's not easy.
No, I can imagine. And well, I have not done this. Well, I just resonate with you here because well, okay, I didn't quit my job right now in Corona period, but I did it a couple of years ago when I was actually still recovering and trying to, recovering from an illness and trying to reintegrate in a job that I had. And it was a beautiful job in psychiatry, being like a case manager and a therapist. And but it was a heavy job, and I knew that there were so many risks back then, and I had a lot of fears. Like I wanted to listen to all the people around me that wanted me safe, of course, and wanted me to have a good, well-paid job. But at the same time, I had the feeling like, yeah, but even if my health is not something that I can rely on, there is not much of a different risk that weighs heavier than that, right? So and in that moment, I decided to quit the job, and from there on, my businesses were built. And
Well done,
this
yeah.
is what it really resonates with, or I feel that I can really get the depth of those fears that you might have been through now here as well.
Yeah, and health is a very important issue because I want to give so much to the world, as much as I can. And if I'm not staying healthy, then at some point I can't keep on giving. So it is essential that I stay healthy. And that's also one of the reasons why I quit, because doing a full-time job and having this huge project growing every day, at some point I can't do that much anymore. And I don't want to end up in a burnout. So yeah, very good point there.
Yes, you made a strong decision. Wow. I love the way this is rolling and going, and I'm just looking down every now and then. I have this piece of paper here with with some preparations, and what I'm curious to figure out now is today's topic, from fear to inner freedom. Like, could you kind of give maybe first a broader sense of how do you, as a specialist, of course, you have a PhD in psychology. I mean, you have some background there on what does fear mean, maybe freedom mean, and then you could share on what it means to you. Could you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah. So for me, fear can have two meanings, and it's up to me what meaning I give it. Fear can be something that, well, scares me and lames me, so that I can't do anything anymore because of the fear. But fear can also be a very strong power from within, and when I use this energy that comes up with this fear, then I can use it in a constructive way, and then fear helps me to do something. So let's say nervousness that I experienced and what I shared in the beginning, it also helps me to have a healthy concentration for this talk. So I made it into something positive. Still, it's there. And what I mean with inner freedom is that this fear that maybe at some point exists because it's called the outside the comfort zone. So when I'm doing something that I've done many times before, I'm inside my comfort zone. And when doing something new, I'm outside of my comfort zone. And going outside usually causes more or less fear. And if it's too far outside, it's panicking. So importantly for me, to move towards inner freedom, is to go outside this comfort zone. So to go into fear a little bit, not too much, because then it's panicking and then you don't want, I wouldn't want to do it at all anymore. But going a little bit further every single time, this comfort zone widens, and then suddenly something that didn't seem possible at one point in the past, now becomes reality because I've been moving towards it. And for me, inner freedom is when I have reached this point where this fear is no longer bothering me, or only in a healthy way like it is today, helping me to concentrate even more.
Oh, wow. Yes. I think that sets it out so beautifully. And, you know, freedom could mean so many different things to people. But in this sense, connecting it to fear and how you could create it from there on by actually kind of dipping your toes outside that border of the comfort zone, just a little bit every time, it really opens up some space for you to breathe, right? And really discover, oh, there's a beautiful world outside this zone of mine. And with that, you can kind of create little success moments and, you know, really grow your confidence every time that you step out of it.
Yeah, very well put. I just say that, so yeah, it's true, because it gives energy and think, oh wow, I could do that. And an image I really like is climbing a hill. When you look up a hill and you're at the bottom of the hill or mountain, you think, oh wow, that's really high. I will never get up there. But when I concentrate on the next little hill, just 50 meters higher or so, and I look up that hill and think, oh yeah, I can do that. And then I start walking and walking, and suddenly I'm there, and I think, oh, that wasn't that difficult. And from there, I still don't look at the top. I know where I'm going, obviously, but I'm not looking all the way up. I just look at the next hill and think, yeah, I can do that, and start walking again. And when I repeat that many different times, at some point I'm on the top of the hill and reached where I wanted to go.
Yes. Yes, I think that's a beautiful metaphor. Hills or mountains. And I'm curious, like, maybe you've already shared a bit on what your life has been like when it comes to you kind of knowing at a young age to become a teacher in many different sectors, really. But could you maybe also share with us how you in your life, or on those different stages in your life, do you have some examples on where did you have fears, and what helped you, or how did you overcome them, and how did you reach that inner freedom?
Yeah, so there are many ways actually, and it's all the time I'm progressing on this. And one huge fear that I only realized, I think it was this week or last week, was when I was a child, very small. When I finished my work in the classroom early, I was always allowed to sit in the back of the room to do extra work. And I asked my parents a long time ago whether I liked it, and they said, yeah, you liked it. And I did, probably because I like to be challenged. I like to do and learn as much as I can. So yeah, that was a good thing. Yeah. On the other hand, I of course also want to be with others. I want to achieve things together with others. I don't want to be lonely. So last week I realized that I have also a lot of fear of being alone in the way I think about the world and in the way I want to give to this world. And that quite hit me because I never realized that. So I have, well, with help of others, with coaches, I'm working with coaches to get a different point of view. I've been talking about this, and now I understand a lot better where, well, some of my behavior comes from. And now I can, when something happens, I think, that explains why I, for example, absolutely love working together with others, and why that's so important to me. It's not just, oh, I like to work with others. It's a must. It's part of me. So that's why I like going and look for people who think in a similar way. And that's also from fear of being lonely in the way I think, to freedom, namely looking for people who are thinking like me and who do want to work together.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. I really see, and I also see how that could have been, well, that those kind of, sometimes you have these insights that suddenly connect the dots with you know, childhood memories and current behavior that can be sometimes really confrontational, but it can also be so kind of heart opening to new situations, and also probably to kind of, it will open that comfort zone again as well.
Very much, because thinking about that and, well, finding out where things come from, it well, hurts at that moment. But today I shared a graph on my blog on Twitter when when I'm growing and I have a certain level of energy, and then at some point I get to a place where I notice that there is something that is holding me back from having even higher energy, and then finding out what it is. For example, that in the past I was sitting in the back in the class on my own. That hurts. So, and it creates fear, and it makes my energy go down. However, going through it allows me to go up afterwards again with my energy and get to an even higher level than I did before. And this higher level of energy is also an important aspect, I think, or for me it is, for this inner freedom.
Yes, yes, I love how we kind of now get to this part of daring to kind of really, we're not only talking about comfort zone then, but we are also talking about, are you allowing yourself to feel that higher energy? It also has a lot to do with what you said before when it comes to daring to make choices, to make sustainable choices. It could mean that other people won't understand those choices, or it's apart from mainstream. For me, it resonates in the sense of being, allowing yourself to be in that higher energy and like really uplifting, happy vibes. It also it also kind of asks from us human beings to be able to lift yourself to those energies, to really deal with allowing yourself to kind of be successful in the sense of higher energies, and allowing yourself to kind of maybe be different than mainstream, because I love how you kind of also shine a light on that side of it. What would you say when you, for example, when you notice for yourself that you have this, that you know that there's more energy there, but there's this little bit of hiccup to get there? Do you have any kind of tips or tricks or tools on what helps you to lift you there?
Yeah. So there are different ways I'm doing it, and one of the most helpful ways for me, which I also use in other circumstances, but is what I call the never fail cycle. And this cycle means that I act and try something. So when I notice there is something holding me back, I think, what could I do to make that change? And I try. I just do it. For example, talking to someone, doing a relaxation exercise, reading a book, can be anything. And then I reflect on it and to see, did that indeed work, and did I indeed get a bit closer to where I want to go? And I found out yes or no, and I learned from it. I learn from it what I can also do in the future, so that when I'm planning, which is the next step, I can plan, will I do it the same next time? Will I do something differently? And by going through this cycle many times, I get to this overcoming this boundary and going through this dip, as I shared earlier, becomes more likely. And it often doesn't happen the first time, because I try something that doesn't work. But I don't give up. And sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it goes really fast and I get through it the same day. But I just keep on going until I find out. And that's wonderful, because I love being on a journey. So
yes, I love how you say that, and thanks for sharing that, because it's really, it can sometimes be so obvious, but at the same time it's not. And I love how you point out loving to be on a journey. It kind of makes me think of this saying that it's all about the journey, that it's not about the destination really. It's if you are able to really look at life and all those steps in between on to next successes or next dreams, all
Yeah.
those steps, the journey itself, that is what is the here and the now. And that is what, if you're able to kind of really enjoy every little step of it, of course, you'll go through fear, you'll go through anger, through grief. So those might be emotions that might not be, how could you say that? If you have not learned to practice feeling into those emotions, it might be a rough ride. But if you're allowing yourself to feel them, feel into them, and be with them, it might help to kind of really experience the journey itself as a wonderful destination, every little step of it.
That's very well put, and it resonates very much with me, and that's exactly how I look at my journey as well, because the first milestone of my journey of making this huge positive difference was doing this challenge. And if I have seen it as getting to the goal of finishing this challenge, well, then a year is a very long time and I spent a lot of time on it, so it would have been very hard work. But because the journey itself was fun, I learned a lot, I already on the journey made a positive difference, and a huge one. So that was already fun. And of course it was great to get to the end. But comparing 364 days of fun and making a difference to one day, namely the last day, well, I definitely like
that's like not comparable in that sense.
Indeed. And the journey goes on. I haven't stopped sharing these sustainability ideas, and in that respect, my challenge was also part of a journey that is still continuing.
Yes, I love it. I love how you share that. Do you maybe have like a little bit of resources or last bits on for people if watching this now or later on finding it back on Instagram Live maybe, if you have some moments on those journeys of yours, like just as all of us do, when you come across emotions that are not so familiar for you to really look at or dive into, what would you say would be helpful? I know you talked about reflecting a bit, on getting yourself to higher energies, but what happens if you're in a bit of a lower frequency and you're experiencing grief or you're experiencing anger maybe? Do you have a bit of a tool for that as well?
Yeah, I can share several things that work for me. And one thing that is important, that everyone finds several ways that work for him or her, because what worked for me might not work for you. So, and I got to these ideas by practicing and trying different things. So, for example, in the past, I tried yoga, which was great for a while, but now it's not working for me anymore. But what does work for me, for example, is going for a walk. I don't know why, but it just refreshes me. I look at nature, beautiful things, fresh air, sunshine. That helps a lot. I have certain relaxation exercises I do that work as well.
What kind of exercises help you?
So for me, it's got one thing that helps me is body scan, so that I feel different parts of my bodies. And there are just very easy meditation exercises where I just concentrate on my breath. I wander off all the time, of course, which is also normal, but I just go back as much as I can. And I have a tool that really helps me because it measures my brain waves or my heartbeat, and it reflects this in an app with a sound. So when my heartbeat or brain waves go up, it starts to the wind starts blowing faster, or the drum beats become faster, and this is feedback for me to go back to concentrating on my breath. That works very well for me.
Cool.
And well, seeing friends and family, sharing my thoughts and experiences with others is very important for me.
Yes.
And sometimes just accepting it the way it is, and just yeah, don't think about it too much. Because it's,
Yes, I think. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Last thing, some thoughts and feelings, I just accept them being there, and then they go away and become milder over time.
Mhm. Yes, thank you so much for sharing that. Like you really opened a whole toolkit there, and it's such a big gift for everybody here listening tonight or watching it back later on. There are so many tools to really discover, and just like you said, it would be if only you'd see it as a journey and finding out what tools are there, and like really reflect like what works for me or what works today and what doesn't work,
Yeah.
what didn't work yesterday. I mean, it's such a beautiful world out there, and there are so many things that you could try. Uh,
Yeah.
it would, it, at some point, at first in my own life, for example, I've been through some hardships and through some traumas and fears, of course, before I found some inner freedom, and it will keep on going that way. But I really resonate with you on the sense of, yeah, when you look at uh, when you look at those different tools, when I was younger, I would feel a bit of resistance, having to work harder, having to learn more about it because I wasn't there yet where I wanted to be, and that's also really human. It's if you're not trained, if your mind is not trained and your body and spirits are not really trained to look at that, look at yourself and really reflect on it, it might be a bit of, yeah, it might awaken some resistance in you. But when you allow that resistance to be there and kind of really stretch yourself to discover what more is out there, it can also be so much fun. Would you do you experience that as well?
Oh, completely, because I definitely didn't grow up where family members used meditation exercises or so, and which is fine, of course, because if it's right for them. But I had to experience these tools and ways for myself. And well, I'm not always very comfortable talking about it, but I do it anyway because it works for me, and that's, I think, the most important thing.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, and also it can be such a fun road to discover what beautiful tools and methods and all kinds of toolboxes are out there, and how you can create your own and really fill it up with things that work for you. I mean, it can be such a gift, and such a gift to yourself.
And it makes a difference in the short run, but also in the long term, because when I found as soon as I found something that worked for me, I was calmer, and being calmer made me feel better. Feeling better allowed me to go outside my comfort zone more often. Going out there more often grew my self-confidence, etc. It's like a snowball that starts rolling faster.
And that's where you get to inner freedom. I mean, wow.
Indeed.
How we made that circle, that's beautiful. Well, I'm looking at the time, and we've been a bit over. Thanks for that extra time with us. I would love to give you a bit of the stage and time to maybe share with us your little practice that you've prepared.
Yes, very good. So it would be helpful when you get a small piece of paper and a pen for this. And
All right.
first, I take you on a small imagination exercise, and then I'll give you the time to translate that imagination exercise to your situation. So when imagine you are planning to go for a marathon run, but you're not a runner yet. So that's a very big goal, and you're quite a long way away from it. When you imagine yourself starting to go for a run for 5 kilometers,
Yes.
do you think you would be able to do that? Probably your muscles and your bones, etc., are not used to that. So 5 kilometers is already a long road. So that means that this goal on the way to running a marathon is a big goal and a little bit too high. So when training for a marathon, it's important to start with very, very small steps. And the first step could be to go for a walk, and 2 days later go for a walk, but a faster walk. And then later in the week, go for a walk and run for 30 seconds in between, and do that maybe several times, and slowly grow the number of seconds running, the distance, etc.
Right.
So I suggest you to now write where you want to go. It doesn't matter whether it's a marathon, climbing the Mount Everest, becoming, well, the best volleyball player in the world, or whatever, anything you would like to achieve. And write a goal down that you think you want to achieve on that way. So not the top yet, just a few small hills that you can already see that are on the way. And I would like to give you, yeah, about 1 minute time to write these steps in between.
Nice. I love this exercise, and I'm just writing along, and everybody else can also grab that pen and paper. And also, when you don't have that pen and paper right now because you're listening in the car or something, just go back to this video, and you can do this exercise later.
Yeah. The complete list, just anything that comes to your mind now.
All right. Okay.
Very good. I guess that writing down these steps in between might feel a bit scary. You might become a bit looking at them.
They do. I noticed that I set a goal that was so scary that I thought, what do I write down now? So, yes, I totally recognize what you say.
Very good. Then maybe from the list you have now, and it doesn't matter whether you later come up with an even earlier milestone, so to say, when you choose the first milestone on your list now, so the closest you already are, I suggest to do the same thing again for this milestone. So for example, running 5 kilometers, write down also these smaller steps in between, how you can get to that milestone. Also, again, about 1 minute.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Well done. I guess you're already feeling a little bit less scared about these steps.
It does help. Yeah.
You could repeat this several times, but I think the idea for now is good enough. So with one of these steps, the most important thing is that, and you can check that now for the steps you have written down, when you look at these steps, do you think okay, that's not something I've done before. I'm not 100% comfortable, but yeah, I can do that.
Yes, I think I need to look at the list again to make some of the bits kind of make them even smaller. And some of them feel like, yes, I can do that, yes.
Yes, yeah, well done. So you've already found some you can put into practice immediately. For others, maybe you can repeat that once or twice again, whatever is right for you. And that's exactly when you're there, the right level of moving forward, that you feel, yes, I can do this. I feel comfortable enough to overcome this fear and to actually do it. And well, when you want to run a marathon, you of course want to make a start as well. So yeah, from this list you have now, from these things you think, yeah, I can do that, choose one task that, or one thing that takes you 1 minute to do at the most, one thing that takes you 5 minutes at the most, and one thing that takes you 30 minutes at the most.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, well done. So the next part, and that's the last part of this exercise, after this call, make sure you do the 1 minute exercise today. And depending on your time zone, if it's now really late, because we have people from all over the world, if it's late for you, then it's okay to do the 5 minute exercise tomorrow. But if it's still early in the day, then also do the 5 minutes exercise today. And finally, schedule the 30-minute task. Put it in your diary. When are you going to do this? When you've done so, then you have made the first steps towards inner freedom.
Wow. I love this. Thank you for really kind of binding it all so beautifully together. It has been amazing. What a beautiful exercise. And I really love how you've put your thought to it and how you really poured everything into today's beautiful topic. I'm really grateful. I really feel this is a beautiful exercise, and I really hope that for everybody watching this now or later, when watching it back this weekend or coming weeks, it will be there for you, and we will share the links on our social media, so you can find it. You can find it back whenever you want to. Yes, this is a really strong exercise, and it will help people really set some new steps out of their comfort zone and go from fear to inner freedom. And this is such a big thing that you're giving us. What was it like for you? Just to give a bit of a round ending today. How did you enjoy it?
I feel very fulfilled because I feel that I've given everything I could on today's topic, and I feel that I have hopefully made a really big difference to you today, and that's what I'm doing this for.
Yes, well, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have for me, and I can only speak for myself, of course. But I really feel that this is a big gift for everybody, and yes, I really enjoyed it. I think you're such an amazing woman, such a beautiful soul, sharing all that knowledge with us and with all your beautiful followers. I know that on your Twitter account you have a lot of followers, really true and loyal followers. Is there anything that you'd like to say or end today with, maybe in any sense?
Well, I just want to say that I'm thinking of not of followers, but of my community, our community, because we're all in this together, and we're all together. And I don't feel like someone is following me. It's like we are in this together, and everyone is making their own great decisions towards a wonderful future and a more sustainable a more sustainable future.
Wow. Yes, I love that extra note. You are totally right. Thanks for that beautiful saying. And may we all grow together. That is
Yeah.
the most
And
important thing.
be on this journey with me. So thank you for being on this journey with me.
Yes, you're so welcome, and thank you for being on mine. And everybody here, really grateful for you listening and watching. And yes, that's about it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this Soulcare live class, and we will be back soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
It was wonderful talking to you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye bye.